Hello and welcome to Time for Reflections.
Drop of rain that falls, a flower grows. I believe that somewhere in the darkest night, a candle glows. I believe for everyone who goes astray, someone will come to show the way. I believe above the storm, the smallest prayer will still be heard. I believe that someone in the great somewhere hears every word. Every time I hear a newborn baby cry, or touch a leaf, or see the sky, then I know why I believe. Every time I hear a newborn baby cry, or touch a leaf, or see the sky, then I know why I
The Bachelors, I believe. It's rather difficult words, those words. I believe. What do they really mean? When you say, I believe something. What in fact it implies is that you have put your faith that something is in a particular way that you think it is. You can't necessarily prove it to somebody else. That's what believe is all about. Let me give you an example to explain what I'm trying to say. Someone once said, if a tree falls in a forest and there's no one there to hear it, will it make a sound? Now, I believe it would. I believe that the bigger the tree, the bigger the sound. But I can't prove that to you, because if I were to prove it to you, then there would be somebody there in the forest to hear the tree fall. So it's something that we take upon trust, something that we believe, yet we can't actually prove it to anybody else. And when it comes to religion, that's what it all falls down to. Christianity, the belief in God, is just that. Something that you have proved to yourself, but you cannot prove it to anybody else. I cannot prove to you that God exists. I could argue forever and ever, but I cannot prove it to you that God exists. I have proved it to myself, but it is impossible to prove it to somebody else, because that somebody else has got to make that first step himself, has got to make that belief himself. And that's what Christianity is all about. I was reading a book the other day, and one particular fact that it mentioned caught my attention. It was talking about stars and planets, and this particular fact is that there are more stars in the universe than all the grains of sand on all the beaches in the world. Can you imagine that? More stars than all the grains of sands on all the beaches in the world. You just pick up a handful of sand and try and count the grains of sand in just that handful and see how many there'll be. Yet there are many, many millions and billions more stars in the universe. And what's more fantastic about it is that we know very little about them. The more we study about planets and about the universe, the more we find out that we know very little, and the more we find out that we've got more to learn. Now, some people tell us that all this thing happened by one big explosion or implosion or the Big Bang or whatever other theory that people want to devise for it all. They say that it all just happened by accident. All these stars turning round each other, they all just happened to be there. Now, all I have to do is look around me at the mechanical gadgets that we have in this world. Look at this studio that I've got here with all the equipment that it has, the tape recorders and the record players. We look at home and we've got a number of gadgets there, a television set, the washing machine, the radio, the car. Now, all these have been made to function according to their plans. The television to bring you pictures and the freezer to keep things cold. They were invented, they were put together by somebody that designed them, manufactured them, and hence we got them. They didn't just happen. They didn't just suddenly arrive. Why should we imply then that all these stars and the world and all the complicated things in the world, the human being, what a complicated creature that is, what a complicated machine it is, why should we then imply that they just happened? Do you know, I reckon it takes more faith to believe that there is a God than it takes to believe that it was all an accident and it just happened.
Thank you very much for listening to Time for Reflection. This is Vic Milberg saying bye-bye for now and God bless.